Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak. And I want to say Shalom to Yakinakwalt out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. I don't really have a title for this one. It might just be titled, be on the lookout for Psyops, or, something along the lines of the local Psyop. I really don't have a title for it yet, but this is like I really don't know what to title it, because, I really don't know what to make of this, right? We're going to go in and talk about it. I saw it yesterday, yesterday around, 5 p.m. maybe, and I read it, and it's interesting. It's interesting. A lot of weird stuff all around in it. All right, it's weird from what happened. It's weird about the guy that posted it, and it's weird the guy that did the thing that the guy's posting about. So, like I said, it's really hard to come up with a title until post. All right, when Lord willing, the title come upon me. But yeah, man. So without any further ado, we're just gonna jump right into it. So this is from the Vegas Locals subreddit, and that subreddit is basically, it's like it's like Nextdoor, really. All right, if you're familiar with that app, it just talks about things that are happening locally, different events and whatnot. Let me turn this volume down. Different events, things that they've happened, things that they've encountered, right? So on and so forth. Like the other day, I guess there was a fire over by the Allegiant Stadium, the Raider Stadium. And people were asking, like, what's going on over there. Never figured out what it was. But yeah. So, being local to Vegas, I subscribe to the Vegas Locals just because, you never know if there's something cool popping up, or, other information that might need to be known. And this interesting little tidbit came across my screen, and I was like, what in the fuck? And I already was kind of pointing out to what it potentially could be as I was reading it, because it sounded, Israelite-ish, right? So it's titled, it's by this person, Syllabub Legitimate 38, right, which is a auto-generated Reddit username, which initially made me skeptical. All right, when not skeptical off the name, but when I clicked on his page, I was initially skeptical when I read this whole thing, so I went and clicked on his page, and we'll get to that in a minute. So it's titled, Creep Assaulted Me at Sunset Park. Now, I'm not familiar with Sunset Park. It's not nearby where I'm at. All right, so a matter of fact, I can go Sunset Park, Vegas. It's in Paradise. Have I been here before? No, I don't even think I've even been to this one before. Yeah, where is this? Sunset Road. No, I haven't even been to that one. But yeah, so that's apparently what the park looked like. And what he says is, was going on a walk, caught this guy creeping at a lady and her kid. Okay, so right off the bat, we have, like pedophile allegations, right? Staring them down and everything from behind them and smiling. I shook my head and kept on walking. That just sounds just weird. Doesn't sound like a real interaction. It says this guy came up to me, daring me to approach him while holding a horn-like object, and proceeded to hide it when I saw it. Up his butt, apparently. This guy had no pockets. Interesting. It says, I spat on the ground and told him to leave me alone. So you spat on the ground and told him, so you spat at the ground. You spat, like, at his feet, or you spat at the ground? So he came up and did something. You spat out the ground, like what, antagonizing him? All right, say if the guy was bugged out or a crackhead, then it probably wouldn't be too well for you. He then got up in my face, threatening me, and punched me in the ribs. By this time, he caused enough commotion where people in the park stopped their activities and started to look over in our general area. So I called the cops, while during the call he spat on me, then threatening me to do something else while trying to rile me up and taunting me. This whole situation, I'm gonna be honest, the whole story, just something about it just doesn't seem real, right? I don't know if you guys are getting that. It just seems like it just seems manufactured. Maybe it could be the way he's writing it, but it's just like, it doesn't. He says, I ignored him half the time, By the time the police were on their way, he started packing up his stuff and started walking into the woods. And during the time he was running away, I thought you said he was walking in the woods. He was running away. Was he walking up or running away? And as he was running away, he brought up God and how I'm a colonizer. I'm Asian. Like, what the fuck? And another guy said, Asians were colonizers as well. It's usually used towards European so-called white folk, but Asians were colonizers as well. It says, and how today is the Sabbath. Yesterday was the Sabbath. It says, and how, but I don't know if yesterday was also Saturday, so some of these guys think Friday to Saturday is the Sabbath. It says, and how our interaction has brought a curse upon myself, and how I'm an Israelite. Then corrects himself, saying I'm a Gentile. Then identifies himself as a member of the 13th lost tribe. You say 13 or 12? I guess there are some people that think that 13 lost tribes. Says, like, what the fuck, dude? Go do drugs somewhere else. This guy tried physical, mental, and spiritual attacks while there. Pokemon Go players in the park. There are, is what he meant to say. There are Pokemon Go players in the park. Laughed my ass off. Can't make this shit up. And he was daring me to call the cops on him after he did all that. Then proceeded to run and hide in the thicket parts of the park. Folks beware of the lingerers at the park. Shit's getting wild out there. And the whole thing just seems weird to me. All right, and I already, when he said he had a horn-like object, I'm like, a horn-like object? What, like a ram's horn? Or like a right? Or like some type of, like, is that what you're talking about? Right? Like one of these? Right? Because that's what popped to mind. All right. It says, he then got up in my face, threatening me and punched me in the ribs. Maybe because you spat on the ground at him? Maybe. I don't know. That's what I would think. But then it goes on and says, calls me a colonizer, and how today is the Sabbath, and our interaction has brought a curse upon my, like, he's going to curse this guy. So, I don't know. The whole situation just seems weird. This could just be a bugged out Jake, all right? I got photos of the guy. But it could just be a bugged out Jake, all right? You got photos of him here. You can see he's got the fringes on. So, it's definitely a situation that happened. All right, the guy looks homeless, really. All right, he's got a big backpack on, another jug, 2 bags, so he looks homeless, right? Honestly. And he's got whatever this is around his neck. What is this? Some type of metal-looking device. We can get on. You can see he's got a bunch of clothes in a Walmart bag, and I don't know. The guy, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know. And the guy, he's got it looks like he's been shaving his face, not bald, but I don't know. The whole situation's weird, right? Now, this person says, there are 0 upsides in engaging in crazies in this town. Hopefully you learn that today for your own sake. And this guy said, I learned a lot more about the people online, too. Thank you. And sad part is I didn't engage with him, though. You did. You spat on the ground. What are you talking about? That is engaging. If someone does something, you shake your head, and he comes up and says something, then you spit. That is engagement. You have engaged with that person. Okay, dummy. But you can see he says I learned a lot more about the people online, referring to the Israelites. Okay, so it goes on to say, and this was interesting. It says somehow he looks calm in every photo. And he said, to be fair, the whole time he was in my face and taunting me, I was unbothered. I told him to back off and leave me alone. He never did. What you're seeing is after he punched me and spat on me and saw me call the cops, running away. I don't know. It says, and this guy says, fair enough. And the black Israelites, not Hebrew Israelites, they always say black Israelites. Remember, the black Israelites or whatever are a big thing out here, and they're insane. I still think it's good to be skeptical when someone blows somebody else's face up all over a community message board without much evidence that the dude in the photos was behaving inappropriately. Everyone on the internet is doing all kinds of shit for all kinds of reasons. It says fair. I've heard about them. This is the first encounter, but in no part of our encounter was God nor the Bible involved. And he stumbled and backtracked when he realized he had no idea what he was talking about. I don't know if anybody else, and someone called out, says, Asians were some of the biggest colonizers. Do you not know your own history? And it says, you had time for a photo shoot? Maybe leave him alone. Yes, in case they try anything after he already assaulted me. Nice name. Makes sense. It says, because you intended to stay in his presence? Make it make sense, please. It says, because I wasn't afraid of them. Especially he turned to that after he knows the cops are coming. I don't know. The guy can't spell. He's only had an account for 3 years, and this is the only thing he's ever posted. Okay? Only thing he's ever posted. He's made comments before, but this is the only post that he's ever made. Okay? Ever. In 3 years. So the whole thing seems to me like a psyop. Okay? So the whole thing to me, seems like a psyop. Okay? I'm gonna be honest. What is a psyop? Okay? What is a psyop? Okay, and you should know what a psyop is by now. I don't know why I did that. My internet out? There we go. PSYOP, psychological operations. A military operation usually aimed at influencing the enemy's state of mind through non-combative means, such as distribution of leaflets. All right, a PSYOP, you know, it's not just military, but PSYOP, you know, your psychological operations. You're making people believe something that's not really true, or you know, something happened and you're trying to make something different out of it. Like they're running a PSYOP right now on Jake and Esau, all right, trying to start this race war up, right? They were running PSYOPs before, you know, when Captain Kirk got spocked, you know, when he got, you know what I'm talking about, all right, when they beamed him up, all right, he everyone was looking for a so-called Negro. It wasn't a Negro, all right, at all. And then, you know, a couple days before that, they were showing that guy at the on that bus, all right, that you know, gave the old whack-a-mole, all right, to that Ukrainian lady, right? And that video was from like fucking 3 or 4 months ago, all right? Why did they push that, all right, right before everything, you know? And the more you look into it, the more that the whole Captain Kirk thing seems like a setup, all right? Now, I'm not debating that the guy got spocked, all right, that he got him beamed up, all right? But I think that it was a target, you know, an assassination, all right, that was targeted not by someone from the left or someone by the right, but higher ups that said, hey, you got to take the boy Kirk out, all right? So, and they used that, all right, to, you know, fulfill they're trying to start this race war. They're trying to get animosity brewing even hotter, right? And then, you know, shortly after that, we have things like this popping up. It's just, you know, and then that day, or the day after, you know, Captain Kirk, you know, they brought up, you know, that lady that went, you know, that was murdered, all right, that had that the Israelite boyfriend, all right, that the whole IUIC thing. They brought that up, and that was 2019 or before 2018. It might have happened. 2019 was when it really started getting popular. You know, slocky on the details, being shady. You can look it up. But why would they bring it back all of a sudden, talking about, you know, who are the Israelites and what happened with the death of this lady? All of a sudden, you know, a day after, you know, Captain Kirk. And now you have that. You look, man. You gotta be wise. All right, let's use that. Two instructions for us here. Okay, Matthew 10:16. It says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." We got to be being wise in these times, man, because there's a lot of every time I try to type in something, I get a fucking business, man. I'm sick of this shit. All right, wise. I say okay payment system. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm gonna look up milk, the new universal television service. No, damn it. Can I just have the word? Shit. So wise. Having or showing experience, knowledge, and good judgment. All right, and using good judgment, you can see that something's fucked up, all right, and funky with all the shit that they've been, reporting on lately. All right? Why all in big batches? Okay? Why all in big batches? Because they're trying to stage and set the stage, all right, and set a scene, all right, and set a flavor the waters, all right, and get people, again, order ob chaos is their motto. I order through chaos. They want chaos. They want the people at each other's necks, all right, and we're not at each other's necks enough. So what do they have to do? They have to incite violence, incite hate, incite, attacks. Okay, yeah, that's for this whole thing. You've had 3 or more lynchings that have happened towards Jake. Okay, so you got to think that they have a motive, man. So we can't just be stupid. All right, we got to be being wise. All right, and harmless as doves. We're not the one doing attacks. We're not the ones popping off on people and kirking the captain. All right, and spocking them. All right, we're not the one that's doing that. Right, but these people are. All right, and we know how it is. They're gonna already try to pass the blame on us because why is all this mention of black Hebrew Israelites all of a sudden? First of all, we've stated several times that we're not black Hebrew Israelites. You can go look on my page and see what I look like. Am I black? No. So am I a black Hebrew Israelite? No, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. All right, and no one's black. All right, this page. Well, this is gray, but some of this lettering down here. That's really gray too. But let's see. This color right here. This is black. All right, no one's that color. Not even the Africans are that color. All right, they say blue-black, but they got bluish undertones, bluish-purple. They're still not black. All right, and no one's white. I've never seen one person that looked like the color of this page. All right? So, nah, man. No, that's not how it works. So why are they all of a sudden bringing all this up? Because they think they're being slick. All right, and the people of the world are so fucking dumb that it doesn't really take much. All right, anybody could run a psyop on these motherfuckers. They're dumb as shit. All right, you can say that our water is filled with vitamins that make you more likely to get pregnant, and then all these people that are trying to get pregnant would go and fucking buy a whole bunch of water and start drinking. It's stupid. It's stupid. Speaking of that, let me drink some water. But these people are dumb. You got to realize these are the same people that you can have, prolific billionaire that created a well-known operating software go out and say, through the use of immunizations, all right, I'll say, because that's a less frequented word that you'll see targeted here, we can get the population down to so amount because there's an overpopulation issue. And you can't say that that's misinformation, all right, because he said it, all right? He said it out of his mouth, all right? You can go and watch it, all right? If we do a real good job with vaccines, all right, we can get that number down. Get that number down. So wait, that means people are dying then, all right? If you're trying to get that the number of population down, that means that people are dying. If you're trying to boost those numbers, you're boosting the population. If you're trying to cut those numbers down, that means people are dying. So how are you going to cause it? Well, through your own words, Bill, right? And then people said, no, that's not what he said. Not what he said. All right. The Nord Stream pipeline. Biden said, hey, if they continue to do that, there will be no Nord Stream pipeline. And then what happened to the Nord Stream pipeline? Then people said, no, it wasn't America. Who did it? Who damaged it? You dummy. They already said who it was. Right? So you can't, these people are a perfect people to really lead. Right? Because as a president or a official or a really even further than that, going back to the 13 families, it's really easy to control this population, all right? Because all they have to do is just say, no, we didn't say that, and then they have all their sheep that will go and say, no, they didn't say that. They could literally say, I'm going to erect a giant statue of a robot in the middle of Manhattan, and then we're going to blow it up, and it's going to be filled with geese. All right, and then we're gonna do it tomorrow at 4 p.m. And then tomorrow at 4 p.m. it happens. All right, and they say, see, these guys said they were gonna do that. No, they didn't. They never said they were gonna do that. Are you fucking dumb? All right, and then you could show them the video. Said that's not what they meant. They meant if someone did that, and then someone did do that because they were just that's how it works, right? They went and said, oh well, maybe it gave them the idea, but that's not. Let's shut up, man. You people are so dumb, all right? And that's why we are sent forth, and we have as sheep in the midst of wolves, because these people are wolves, and we have to what? Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So we have to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. We can't harm people, but we got to use our brain. All right, we can hurt their feelings, but we can't hurt them physically. All right, and we got to be wise. All right, for example, here's another one. Be not ignorant. We get this one all the time. This is Ecclesiastes 5:15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So when we see things like this, we can't be ignorant. All right, we can't say that there's no way this could be a psyop. It reeks of psyop to me. Now, the guy could just be a bugged out Jake at the end of the day, all right? And, like, we don't know the whole story. We weren't there, all right? Now, this guy he looks bugged out regardless just by the fit, okay? Wearing basketball shorts, carrying all this stuff, got this shirt on, but he's wearing fringes, okay? The guy looks bugged out regardless, okay? But the problem is, we don't know what he did. All right, just by these photos, he doesn't look aggressive. All right, the guy doesn't look aggressive, right? So, we don't know what he did really. All right, the guy could have walked up and said, "I don't like what you have to say," and spat at his feet, and then the guy, tried to do something to him, and this guy defended himself and punched that guy in the ribs. For all we know, we don't know. We weren't there. We only have this guy's account, and like the guy was saying, we can't just go off of some random account on a what did he say? He said blowing someone else's face up over a community board without much evidence of what the dude in the photos was if the dude in the photos was behaving inappropriately. We don't know. We don't know what this guy did at the end of the day. All right, sure, he looks bugged out, and that's one thing in general. All right, but you got to really take mind and take heed that there's going to be a lot of disinformation in these days, and a lot of mockers, a lot of scoffers, right? So let's get a scripture on some scoffers, because you're going to have those in the end days, and you don't know if these people are set up. I mean, it's the guy's only fucking post. That's your only post ever, right? And all these years, you've been on Reddit, 3 years, you've never made any post, and the post that you do make happens to be about a Hebrew Israelite. It just seems, the shit stinks to me, all right? If it smells like shit, it's got to be. So, and we don't know at the end of the day. Could this guy have been preaching in some capacity? Sure. We just don't know. We have no idea. I've never seen the guy. I wasn't there, all right? All I know is that apparently he did all this stuff, but the guy spat at him, right? And you said he has no pockets, all right? He has no pockets. He said he had no pockets, so he must have pulled the horn out of his... Where's this horn that you said that he had? Did he put it in one of his bags? Right? It just... See how things don't add up? All right, going back to Ecclesiastes 5:15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. Here's another scripture. This is, in general, because this guy says he's an Asian, we don't even know if he is. Right? And on top of that, he could still be paid off, all right, or part of an agenda, or an account that was set up 3 years ago to have it age, all right, but you should have posted some other things so it looked like it blended in, right? 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, all right? We're not ignorant of what this devil does, all right? We know this is the type of shit that he does. He makes up little false scenarios and stuff. It just, it just doesn't, it just, the whole, I don't know if it's the same way with you brothers and sisters, but it just doesn't smell right. So let's get Jude 1:18. How long have we been going for? 23 minutes. Let's get Jude 1:18, because we know there's going to be mockers, right? Jude 1:18, how that they told you there should be mockers in the last time who should walk after their own ungodly lusts. They have many ungodly lusts, and one of those ungodly lusts is, making those that are actually godly, all right, setting a snare before them, all right? And here's one for you. If this guy was doing that, right? Let's get that's not the one. Let me go and see. Here it is. Skip past it. Slack it. Proverbs 26:27 says, whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him. It says, a lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. So again, we don't know, but this guy was purposely, specifically trying to dig a pit. All right, so to have this, something bad happen to this guy or make this guy look bad when he didn't really even do anything. Regardless, he'd be bugged out regardless, because you can tell by the fringe T-shirt. He wouldn't be a part of GMS or one of his affiliates wearing a fringe T-shirt. All right, that's a sign of a bug out. That's the bug out outfit, is the fringe T-shirt, right? Because that's not a garment. A garment's a garment. A T-shirt's a T-shirt. So, and T-shirts didn't exist in biblical periods. All right, that's a newer thing. So, nah, man. If you're trying to, but say if the guy was a bug out, regardless, but he had decent intentions, and you're trying to just dig a pit to make this guy look bad, and he wasn't actually creeping on kids or whatever, then guess what? You roll a stone, that's gonna come upon you. The Lord's gonna get you back. All right, because essentially what that would be is you bear false witness. All right, let's go and get that. Let's get right here, Proverbs, where was it? 9 and 5. It says, a false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape. And then Proverbs 19 and 9, a false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish. Now, continue on with this Jake, all right? This Jake, all right, was he teaching? He said he wasn't teaching. He said he was just, we don't know what he was doing. Was he teaching? What was he doing? Was he just wearing the fringes? I'm still trying to figure out what this is on his neck here. Right? That's very interesting. And it's got like a wire. Right? It looks like a wire that's coming from it. I don't know. It's just very interesting. And I don't know if it's like is it some type of mic? Was the guy mic'd up? It doesn't look like a headphone. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. The whole thing is just weird, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to ask ChatGPT what he thinks it is real quick. Bear with me. Let's see. Alright, let's say, what is this on this guy's neck by the chain? Looks like a black wire running from it. Alright, I'll have that analyze that in the background. But yeah, the whole thing. See, it said a wireless earbud case or device holder that's clipped to the chain, maybe with a charging cable or strap hanging from it, neck-worn fitness or audio device, wireless earbud. Yes. Try to figure out what it is. Alright, it's analyzing it deeper now. So, but yeah, man, so the whole situation just, in short, stinks. The whole situation stinks. Alright, it doesn't seem, bear with me. It doesn't seem, right to me. It seems weird. It's, I don't know. I don't know how you brothers and sisters feel about it, but to me it feels weird. But regardless, Romans 2 and 28 reads, for he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh. And I wanted to read that just in case, this Jake, look, I don't know, you don't have to wear fringes every day. Now, were you at the park teaching? We don't know. All right, we don't know. And still, and say if the guy was correct, all right, then, it's bugged out to be doing it that way to people. And saying, this and that, and we just don't know. All right, we just don't know. The whole situation, like I said, reeks. It stinks. Let's see. It says, looking closer, the black object hanging with the chain doesn't look like part of the necklace itself. It seems to be a small device clipped or tied onto the chain. Possibly something Bluetooth. Yeah, so It said it could be some type of lanyard tag, a tag from a lanyard. I don't know. I thought that was weird. I don't know what it is. The best assumption I could give is it's in some type of audio device, right? And here it is again. I don't know what this is. It's weird to me, right? I really do wonder what that is, though. Shit, let me try to zoom closer. Bear with me. 1 minute. Yeah, man, I can't even tell what that is. But I don't know, the black wire. I don't know, something about it's just peculiar to me. Just peculiar. It might be the same thing as whatever this is. It looks a little different though. This looks a little different. This looks like a strap hanging from his backpack. But and the guy's got his shirt inside out too. I don't know. Guy could be a little bugged out. So, I don't know. The guy could be bugged out. I'm saying either way, all right? Either way. It could just be a psyop, all right? They could have just found some bugged out Jake, all right? There's too many things around here that just don't really add up, all right? It could just be because the guy can't tell a story worth of shit, all right? But I don't know, all right? But, yeah, it's still regardless. Romans 2:28, for he is not a Jew, which was one outwardly, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh, all right? But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of Yahweh. So, I don't know if he's one of these bug outs that just walk around in fringes. If he was out there so-called teaching, right? Or, you know, what was this guy doing, right? We don't know. There wasn't a video. They didn't tell us. The whole thing just kind of stinks. It's weird, all right? It's off-putting. And that's really all I have to say about it is just, hey, man, watch out, all right? Keep an eye out because there's a lot of psyops, okay? Just stay prayed up, all right? What I want to get. At the end of the day, regardless of which one you fall into, the Lord's going to have you fall into one of two categories. Job 12:6. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. So, look, the Lord's allowing this to happen. All right, you're going to have a lot of simple Jake get caught up, a lot of stupid-ass Edomites that get caught up. You need to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. All right, be smart. All right, use your wisdom. All right, use intelligence. Be smart. Don't be dumb, okay? And realize that there's a lot of lies going out right now, all right, and everything, all right. That if that's anything to take home, you know, from the lesson is be on your fucking watch right now, Jake, all right, because there's a lot of lies, a lot of deception, miscommunications, and psyops running right now, right, where they're gonna say people are doing stuff that they're not doing, you know, events happen that didn't really fucking happen, false flags, different shit's gonna happen. So, you know, and it's only going to get worse as we get deeper and deeper in this thing. And I agree with Apostle Tahar as he made that lesson yesterday. You know, I see big things happen in 2026. I saw big things happening this year, all right, and look how it's going, all right. You can feel it, man. I'm not saying that, oh, I'm some, you know, the great person. I'm saying you can just feel it. You can feel when it's going to be a heavy year. And I feel 2026 being a very heavy year, all right. Lord willing, it's the year that we get out of here. But if not, all right, Lord willing it is. But if not, there's definitely going to be some extreme moves. Okay, you got to realize we are how many months into this presidency, all right? And look at how extreme things have gotten. Things don't calm down from here, all right? Things don't calm down from here. They get worse. So if it's already like this, all right, 1 year in, you know, because we got Nero, man. We got Nero as the president. Okay, and again, he's not the guy that's controlling everything, but he's the face, all right, and they're allowing him to do certain things. And what do you think that Nero wants to do? War. That's what Nero did, was war. It's the same guy coming back to the reincarnation. Looks just like his ass. You can look it up. Look up Trump and Nero, all right, and you'll see. Oh, matter of fact, I'll do it for you. Trump, Nero. Oh, and look at that. Nero, the Roman Empire, and the fall of Nero. All right, so, there's a photo. This guy's Nero, man. It's Nero coming back. All right, and then you have Putin, who's Caesar. All right, you got Caesar. So you got Nero and Caesar. All right, right now. And yeah, man, it's getting hot. It's getting hot, hot, hot. Look at this one of younger Nero, all right, and younger Trump. Look at that. You know, it's undeniable, man. It's undeniable. So, yeah, man. Well, that's really for the informed and the learned. All right, a lot of you, no, that's not the case. All right, cool. You believe what you want to believe. Just know there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. All right, you got Nero as the 13th Masonic officer for these 13 Jewish families. All right, and they you know, these big league banking families, you know, they got Nero. All right, you know, at the forefront. He's the poster. All right, the poster for the New World Order. Right, just like a Roman to want a new world order, right? They were the ones that started wanting a new world order. All right, it all came with, you know, Draco, with that draconian law. All right, then they all fell in love with it. So, yeah, man, now is the time to keep your eyes peeled, keep on watch. All right, don't believe what you see, don't believe what you hear. All right, if something smells like shit, it's probably shit. Right? If it walks, talks, and quacks, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and swims like a duck, it's got to be a duck. So if it smells like shit, looks like shit, it's probably bullshit. All right, so just watch out there. All right, be safe, stay prayed up. Before you leave your house, pray. Before you know, when you wake up, pray. When you go to bed, pray. All right, pray all throughout the day. All right, and that's what we'll actually close out with right here is pray without ceasing. Okay, this is what you need to know. This is a scripture right here, and it's simple. 1 Thessalonians 5:17. Pray without ceasing. Verse 18. And everything give thanks, for this is the will of Yahweh and Hamashiach Yahushai concerning you. Quench not the spirit, despise not prophesyings, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. So there you go. So another one, I'll get that because Jake needs to know that as well, is the verse 22, abstain from all appearance of evil. And then we got to continue. In verse 23, it says, and the very power of peace sanctify you wholly, and I pray Yahweh your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless unto the coming of our Lord Yahushai Hamashiach. So stay prayed up. Before you leave the house, pray. Before you sleep, try to pray. I know you can fall asleep sometimes, but just try to pray. Pray when you wake up. All right, pray. Before you eat, pray. All right, you can never pray too much because we're in deadly and dangerous times. All right, pray for, you know, yourself. Pray for your brothers. All right, you know, the brothers and, you know, sisters in this truth. And hey, man, Lord willing, we got out here soon because this is just a whole place of just lies and robbery, as the scriptures say, and we want the hell out. So that's where I'm going to close out, right? Lord willing, it was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing, shalom.